Can you describe a recent situation where you felt that your leadership, or let me put it another way. I'm sort of having to rewrite this in my head because some of the
That's okay.
phrasing I don't like.
That's okay.
Could have benefited from some other kind of guidance or culture building. So either yourself or those you lead, it was like, we really need to sort of bring somebody up to speed on how to do this, especially with respect to culture specifically. Like leadership and culture to me
Yeah.
can't really be disentangled in that good leadership is good culture building simultaneously.
Yeah, absolutely. Where I've experienced it the most happened to be as we were coming out of the pandemic. Before the pandemic, so I worked in the airline industry, and and as you know, the airline industry was hit very hard during the pandemic, and essentially we had to cut back our workforce a lot, like almost 2/3 of our workforce left the company. And so then on the flip side of it, the travel industry recovered really quickly there during when we started to come out of the pandemic. And so travel returned way quicker than we were expecting it to. And so we had to start putting people into positions quicker than we would have ever anticipated. And it left us with putting people into positions who weren't necessarily ready for, and specifically in leadership positions. And so during that time, I recognized that I didn't have the luxury of, just being able to hire somebody who already had what they need to be a leader. I was going to need to take the time to provide them that training. And it was tough because there was a lot of things happening, and I could, just put those people in place and just hope for the best. And as we started going through that, I quickly realized that by just having people there, that wasn't enough. There were some skills that needed to be taught and needed to be learned. And, so for my team, it was really important to me that I take them offsite, take them away from what we were doing on a daily basis for a couple of days, and just help give them the foundations of leadership. Otherwise, they were just floundering, and as we were hearing back from our employees, they were frustrated and they didn't feel like they had the support they needed, and they were, lacking the supervision or the leadership that they wanted. And so it was just, kind of a big ball of chaos there for a little bit. And so one of the best things I was able to do for that was just remove everybody from the situation, and just take some time with them and hone in on, some of those skills that are really important in leadership. And it made a huge difference. We were able to, of course, we kept it as an ongoing series, and we would make sure that we were checking in with them and, continuing to talk about how those skills were working. But definitely it was needed to just take that pause for a minute and make sure that we just kind of realigned with all these new leaders that were coming into place.
I like that. I like the pause and realign. And I liked when you were talking about taking them out of the context, which from a psychological point of view, because that's my background, from the neuroscience point of view, they have a lot of associations with, I'm here, I feel out of control, drowning in anxiety, because it's like, they didn't train me to do this, and I've never done this before. So as many times former employee, I find it shocking that many companies say, well, this guy who's been here a while, or this gal who's been here for a while, they know how to do it. Go work with them and they'll train you up. And it's sort of like, well, hold on. As a now almost 2 decades, 16, 17 years of teaching, and this is C-suite executives through to 2-year-olds, which aren't especially different in some very fundamental ways. In others, yes, but in some, no.
Yeah.
And it leaves me with this shocking insight from my experience teaching, is like, why do people confuse being able to do something with being able to teach something?
Yes.
They are two fundamentally different skills,
100%.
and you could be the best doer, the best practitioner, and an incompetent or tyrannical or fantastic teacher, but
Yeah.
they are not the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. So I think so many times in business that happens, that we just pair somebody up with another person that is doing the job, and we hope that that's going to transfer over. And that's all we're doing, is hoping. And we really aren't setting anybody up for success.
Right. In fact, yeah. I think it leaves a real danger of setting two people up for failure, and
Yes.
then you can't be surprised if suddenly you find yourself two people short on your human resources.
Yes.
I'm really direct when I speak with people and when I write my articles and stuff. It's sort of like, even if it may not be your responsibility that X has happened, or sorry, I said it backwards here. It may not be your fault that the situation is as it is, but it is your responsibility. So as a leader, it's sort of like, maybe the training has, to put it plainly, sucked in the past, and maybe you can't provide that training now, but it is your responsibility, even if it isn't your fault.
Yeah.
You're the leader.
Yeah.
Don't expect great results if you don't give great training.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. Yeah, I agree.
Arigato. I say the same thing when it comes to sort of evolutionary things, right? It's like, okay, some people say, well, I'm really challenged. I'd rather stay home and watch Netflix and eat cookies. It's like, well, that's actually species wide. We all would love to be doing things the easy way and getting the fantastic results without the work. That's our evolutionary default. It's not our fault, but it's our responsibility. And we
Yeah.
do have the choice to do something about it. Is it hard? It's hard for everybody. You're not special if you think it's hard for you. It's hard for everybody. So the next question here, sort of, what specific outcomes do you hope to achieve through what we've been talking about?